What's up, guys? It's Ethan Cosway here, and welcome back to episode 3 of Read and React. As a reminder, what we're going to be doing in this video, I'll be going over a piece of media and how they handle a certain general topic, and I'll be making some connections between them. And then there are three connections that we can make here. There is text itself, which is basically me uh, to connecting our piece of media to a personal experience I had. There's text is text, which, as the name implies, I'll be comparing or contrasting two different pieces of medias. And there's text to world, which is a connection where you basically connect a piece of media in like some outside of a classroom setting and more of like a general thing. And this could be either like relating a piece of media to like societal and so on. Okay, so our general topic of today is how disciplinary literacies and PBI, which is project-based inquiry, correlate with each other. And funny enough, this today might be a short video because we're only going over one piece of media. We are going over chapter 2 of the Spires textbook and how they handle this topic. So, to give a kind of review of what happens in this chapter, it does explain what is project-based inquiry, or PBI for short, and it's basically whenever you teach students, you kind of compose inquiry questions or inquiry style elements to help students. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry, this book got you. Basically, when it comes to inquiry based learning, is that the student is either analyzing or in deep thought with the materials. You're not just simply just saying words for words and you just tell them, oh, this, no, this, that, and that when it comes to teaching subjects. Rather, you're letting the student practice critical thinking so to become more self autonomous when they're learning about this subject area. And as a reminder, when it comes to disciplinary literacy, is the whole point of disciplinary literacy is that you're teaching students to become almost like experts in terms of learning the skills that experts in those subject areas would employ to have a better learning experience. And display literacies and PBI correlates with each other because the book talks about how if you're going to have students do critical thinking, that's going to be important for any expert in any subject area, whether it be history, math, science, and so on, which will then correlate to display literacies. Now, what I like about this book, it actually goes has some charts for you to use. It gives examples of the different subject areas in school, whether it be science, math, or social studies, and how you can do inquiry-based learning that also ties into disciplinary literacies. For example, if you go to page 25 and page 25 to 27, there's a whole chart that covers each school subject and strategy you can use to promote inquiry-based learning while also working on your display literacies on those students that will make them become experts in that field. For example, so let's go with social studies. Social studies, you have they talk about how you be analyzing documents and other sources of information, and either you can have the students analyze it, and you make them either discuss their ideas with the topic, or make summaries, or make explanations about a more broader topic you're trying to teach them via using these topics. So we got the summary out of the way. Let's go to connections. So with this one, I'm going to go for text to self for chapter 2 Aspires. So let's talk about my text to self connection. Now, when I was teaching some middle schoolers, I had to teach them ancient history, but more specifically, I was teaching them about globalization for today, which is the idea of different cultures influencing different cultures and values and so on. So what I wanted students to, before I taught them like how ancient empires influence each other, I gave them the definition of what globalization is, and I had them group up and come up globalization you see nowadays. And after the students discussed amongst themselves, I had a wide variety of answers, and also gave their reasoning behind them, which I quite enjoyed. And when they talked about them, they covered things such as food. Food is quite popular. Food is kind of like transcends like every culture, and it will spread anywhere. Some students talked about music. As you know, a lot of foreign artists who are not Americans quite popular these days. And we got dressing or fashion, quite popular, whether it be makeup, styles of clothes, and so on. And simple language. I had some students talk about how language became more diverse in different countries, or they start spreading. So that's one way how I you can talk about to get students really thinking and critical thinking, not just you simply spoon feeding them information, but you allow the students to kind of think for themselves about this topic, and then they can kind of come up with the answers themselves or understand the material themselves rather than you, me as a teacher, just simply spoon feeding them, and they'll just kind of regurgitate the information I say, not really truly understanding the idea. So yeah, that was my text itself, and it's basically how inquiry based learning can be very incorporated into classes, which then promotes disciplinary literacies. And in my case, which was having the students think of themselves examples of globalization or modern society, and that themselves kind of highlights the project-based inquiry learning skill, which is kind of just analyzing and comparing like things you see in nowadays and explaining how those um, things relate to globalization. And so yeah, overall, book does a fantastic job when it comes to the general topic of how display literacies and PBI relate to each other, as it dives deep and explains to a person what PBI is. And it gives you examples, like I said, via page 25 through 27, of how no matter what subject area you're teaching, it gives you project based learning inquiry strategy and methods that then also correlates to display literacies, which no matter of what skill level you're at as a teacher, can be very useful in any setting. So yeah, those are my thoughts about today's Read and React. I hope you guys have a good day, stay safe, and have a nice one. Bye.